Let's be honest. For most of you living in a quiet suburban ranch home, survival isn't about Rambo-style heroics. It's about managing a slow fade of the systems we take for granted. When the power goes out in a typical American town, the immediate challenge isn't just the lack of light, it's the fact that 70% of seniors depend on at least one daily prescription. Many of these, like insulin or heart biologics, require strict refrigeration or a functioning pharmacy supply chain to remain effective. When that chain breaks for more than 48 hours, your medicine cabinet suddenly becomes a ticking clock for your health. Here is the wow factor most people miss. In a crisis, your biggest enemy isn't a bad actor outside your door, it's gravity and your own biology. Statistics show that for those over 65, a simple fall in the home is 20 times more likely to be fatal during a disaster. This is because emergency response times that usually average 8 minutes can jump to potentially hours or even days as local services become overwhelmed. Your body is a precision instrument, but after age 65, your internal thirst sensors naturally dull. You can become 2% dehydrated, a level enough to cause sudden cognitive confusion and fatal decision-making without ever feeling thirsty. In a home reaching 90 degrees without AC, this silent dehydration is a far greater threat than any intruder. We are talking about survival, where your heart rate stays steady under 100. We're focusing on how to keep your house at a livable temperature when the AC dies, how to prioritize your 30-day med stash, and why staying in your favorite armchair is often a better tactical move than trying to drive on roads where accidents spike by 300%. This is about staying human, staying put, and staying alive by choosing the right actions rather than the fastest ones. It is about the quiet strength of doing less, not more. 1. The wisdom of staying put, protecting what matters most living. In a quiet single-story ranch home in the suburbs offers a beautiful sense of peace, but we must be honest about how that peace depends on a very delicate web of services. Safety here isn't about bracing for a Hollywood-style disaster, it's about managing those stretches of time when the systems we rely on every day start to drift out of sync. Think about a typical American town during a prolonged power outage. The real challenge isn't just the lack of light, it's the quiet reality that 7 out of 10 people in our age group depend on at least one daily prescription. Many of these medications, such as insulin or certain heart biologicals, require strict refrigeration or a functioning local pharmacy supply chain to remain viable. When the local grid goes quiet for more than 48 hours, your medicine cabinet and your ability to remain calm become your most vital survival assets. There's a factor most of us overlook, because it feels so ordinary in these moments. Your biggest risk isn't outside your front door, it's the simple physics of your own home and your own biology. For someone over 65, a fall in the hallway becomes significantly more dangerous during a crisis. Under normal conditions, an ambulance typically arrives in about 8 minutes. However, during a widespread emergency, that response time can stretch into several hours or even days as local services become overwhelmed. In such a scenario, a simple hip fracture or a head bump isn't just an injury, it's a high-stakes medical emergency with no immediate help in sight. Furthermore, our bodies handle basic needs differently as we age. After 65, the natural thirst signal in our brain isn't as sharp as it once was. You can lose just 2% of your body's water enough to cause sudden cognitive confusion, dizziness, or a dangerous drop in blood pressure without ever feeling thirsty. In a house that reaches 90 degrees Fahrenheit because the AC is out, that silent dehydration is a far greater threat than any external intruder. It affects your decision-making long before you realize you are in trouble. True survival in this environment is about keeping your heart rate steady and your movements purposeful. It's about knowing how to keep your favorite room at a livable temperature, having a 30-day supply of your essentials within arm's reach, and recognizing that staying in your comfortable chair is often a much smarter tactical decision than trying to navigate an unpredictable road with limited fuel. Roadways during a crisis often see a 300% increase in accidents due to panic and failed traffic signals. Staying home protects your dignity, your health, and your humanity by choosing the right actions rather than the fastest ones. By understanding these subtle biological and structural risks, you transform your home from a place of vulnerability into a fortress of common sense. 2. Choosing cover over concealment. The life-saving wall. In the quiet of your living room, the line between safety and danger often comes down to one critical decision: where you place your body. we must clearly distinguish between two terms that are frequently confused: concealment and cover. Concealment is anything that hides you from view, like heavy bedroom curtains, a wooden wardrobe, or a decorative shrub. While these offer privacy, they provide zero physical protection. If a barrier cannot stop a fast-moving object or a projectile, it is not where you want to be when things turn volatile. In a suburban setting, relying on concealment alone is a common mistake that leaves one dangerously vulnerable to external impacts. Cover, on the other hand, is a substantial physical barrier that actually stops and absorbs threats. Think of the brick exterior of your home, a solid concrete porch pillar, or even a cast-iron bathtub. Here is a stark reality of modern suburban construction. Approximately 90% of interior walls in American homes are made of half-inch drywall, essentially just paper-backed gypsum. Tests show these walls can be pierced by objects moving at just 150 feet per second, which is significantly slower than a well-thrown baseball. Most interior partitions are merely thin wood studs and trapped air, offering virtually no resistance to forceful impacts. True cover is found in high-density objects. This includes your car's engine block, often 300 to 400 pounds of solid metal, or a thick brick fireplace that is deeply anchored to the house's foundation. For those of us prioritizing low-motion, safety speed is rarely the correct answer. In high-stress moments, a senior's heart rate can spike from 70 to over 140 beats per minute instantly. This physiological surge causes a 40% drop in fine motor control, making quick movements clumsy, unstable, or even dangerous due to the risk of falling. Instead of running, we advocate for the short burst move. Identify a piece of real cover within a 6 to 10 foot radius and move to it with one quiet, deliberate effort. Statistics from emergency scenarios show that 85% of injuries in these situations occur within a direct line of sight. Simply putting a 4-inch brick wall or a solid structural element between you and the source of the noise increases your survival odds by over 80%. This is about being a strategist, not a hero. Your heavy oak dining table, weighing perhaps 150 pounds of solid wood, is a far better shield than a plush sofa or a hollow core door. By choosing the right spot, you preserve your limited energy and keep your breathing calm while waiting for the situation to settle. Knowing where these hard points are located in each room allows you to protect your home and your life without taking a single unnecessary step. 3. Maximum gravity. The get low strategy. Once you've found your cover, your next move is to become as small as possible. In a tense situation, your greatest vulnerability is simply how much space your body occupies. Think about how hazards move. Most flying debris, structural failures, or physical threats in a home environment tend to travel at chest height or above roughly the 3 to 6 foot zone, where we spend most of our lives standing. This is because glass window panes, heavy shelving, and wall-mounted electronics are all concentrated in this upper tier. By simply lowering yourself, you instantly tuck your vital organs, your heart, lungs, and brain under this primary danger line, utilizing the dense vacuum of safety that exists closer to the home's foundation. In many residential incidents, the survival rate increases by over 60% just by occupying the space below the window line. For those of us moving a bit slower, this isn't about a sudden jarring dive that could cause a fracture or a joint injury. It's about a controlled, deliberate descent that preserves your limited energy. If you're near a solid wall, just slide your back down against it until you're firmly seated on the floor. This single move cuts your exposed profile by nearly 50%. The floor is actually the most reinforced part of your home. The first 12 inches above the boards are often shielded by the heavy oak frames of your sofa, the solid wood base of a dresser, or the dense 200-pound weight of a master bed. These low-lying hard points create a secondary fortress of wood and metal around you, providing structural protection that just isn't there at shoulder level, absorbing impacts that thin drywall cannot. There's also a very practical biological reason to get low. Under extreme stress, our bodies play tricks on us. About 33% of seniors will experience a sudden dizzy spell or a momentary loss of balance known as orthostatic hypotension if they try to move or stand too quickly when their heart rate climbs. By staying low, you eliminate the risk of a secondary emergency, a dangerous fall from a standing height that could result in a hip fracture or a serious head injury. Statistics show that the majority of secondary injuries in crisis events are caused by falls, not the event itself. If you're already on the floor, you've removed the risk of falling entirely, allowing your blood pressure to stabilize while your spine is fully supported by a wall or a heavy furniture base. By pressing against a sturdy interior wall or lying flat beside heavy furniture, you use the house's own geometry and gravity as your personal shield. It's a smart, low-energy tactic that keeps your body tucked away from the chaos happening higher up, ensuring you remain calm and conscious when it matters most. This is not about being passive. It is about using the physics of your environment to gain a tactical advantage. 4. Absolute stealth, mastering the art of silent presence. Once you have secured your physical position behind a solid barrier, your next priority is to vanish from the sensory landscape. In a suburban environment where the usual hum of traffic or air conditioning has ceased, silence becomes magnified, turning every small noise into a beacon. At this stage, survival is about sound discipline. While we instinctively know to remain quiet, the greatest risk to your safety is often the device sitting in your pocket or on the table next to you. The modern smartphone is designed to get our attention, but in a crisis, that attention can be fatal. Most people believe that switching to vibrate mode is a safe middle ground. However, the mechanical motor of a smartphone vibrates at a frequency that can reach 40 to 50 decibels. When placed on a hard surface like a wooden nightstand, a ceramic countertop, or a glass coffee table, that vibration acts like a drum, amplifying the sound through the surface and making it easily audible through thin interior drywall. In a dead-silent house, a vibrating phone can be detected from over 15 to 20 feet away by someone listening for signs of movement or life. True silent mode means zero sound and zero light. You must ensure the phone is set to complete silence, with all haptics disabled. Equally important is the light signature. A smartphone screen emits about 500 to 1,000 nits of brightness, an intense glow that can illuminate an entire dark room and reflect off windows or mirrors, signaling your exact location to anyone outside the house. Keeping the device face down and tucked under a piece of fabric is a small but vital adjustment. For those of us who rely on hearing aids, be aware that these devices can emit a high-pitched feedback whistle of up to 30 decibels if they are not fitted perfectly or if you lean your ear against a hard surface like a wall. Maintaining this level of quiet is a low-effort but high-impact tactic. It allows you to become invisible without needing to move a single muscle. By neutralizing these electronic signatures, you regain the advantage of hearing the subtle movements of the environment around you while ensuring that you remain a ghost in your own home. Silence isn't just the absence of speech. It is the strategic management of every signal you send out into the world to ensure you are the observer, not the observed. 5. Silent lifelines, leveraging minimalist emergency technology. The final layer of a low-motion safety plan is connecting with the outside world without breaking your silence or compromising your physical position. In a high-stress suburban environment, the traditional method of making a voice call can be a significant tactical liability. Attempting to speak clearly while your adrenaline is surging can lead to breathlessness or voice tremors, and more dangerously, it reveals your exact location to anyone nearby. Survival in the digital age is about using the silent shortcuts already built into the devices we carry every day. Most modern smartphones are equipped with an emergency SOS feature that acts as a silent beacon. Instead of unlocking your phone and navigating through complex menus, a simple repetitive action such as pressing the power button 5 times in rapid succession triggers a critical chain of events. This action can be performed while the phone is still in your pocket, hidden under a blanket, or tucked under a heavy piece of furniture. It requires almost zero fine motor skill, which is essential when stress levels cause a significant drop in manual dexterity. Once activated, the system bypasses the need for a voice conversation, automatically transmitting your precise GPS coordinates to local emergency dispatchers and pre-selected family contacts. In an environment where every second counts, this silent signal provides a location fix accurate to within 15 to 50 feet. This level of precision is nearly impossible to communicate verbally during a moment of intense confusion, especially when you are disoriented or trying to remain unheard by a nearby threat. Furthermore, there is a profound psychological and operational benefit to this minimalist communication. By relying on a pre-programmed shortcut, you preserve 100% of your cognitive energy for monitoring your immediate surroundings. You don't have to struggle to remember your address or describe landmarks. Statistics in emergency response show that digital location pings reduce dispatch times by up to 2 to 3 minutes compared to traditional voice descriptions. This reduction is life-saving when the average emergency response in suburban areas already spans 8 to 12 minutes. This is the ultimate advantage of the low-motion strategy. You remain a ghost to the threat, while being a bright, clear signal to those coming to help. Over 80% of emergency calls now originate from mobile devices, and using these built-in protocols ensures you are prioritized in the digital queue. By staying still and letting the technology do the work, you transform your stillness from a vulnerability into a decisive tactical strength. You aren't just waiting, you are actively managing your rescue while staying perfectly safe. The quiet strength of the prepared mind. Survival in our golden years isn't about matching the physical intensity of a crisis, it is about outsmarting it. As we have explored today, your suburban home can either be a maze of risks or a fortress of calculated safety, depending entirely on your willingness to embrace the low-motion philosophy. By distinguishing cover from concealment, lowering your center of gravity, mastering silent presence, and utilizing minimalist technology, you are not just waiting, you are actively managing a tactical situation. You are choosing to preserve your most vital resource, your calm analytical mind. Remember, the goal of these strategies is to bridge the gap between the onset of an emergency and the arrival of professional help. Whether it takes 8 minutes or 8 hours, your job is to remain a hard target, someone who is difficult to find, difficult to harm, and impossible to rattle. Every heavy table you've identified as cover and every SOS shortcut you've practiced is a brick in the wall of your security. This journey of preparedness is more than just a set of rules. It is a commitment to your own dignity and health. It is about proving that wisdom and stillness are often more effective than speed and panic. You have spent a lifetime building your home and your legacy. Now, by taking these small, deliberate steps, you are ensuring they remain protected. Take a moment today to walk through your rooms not as a resident, but as a strategist. Identify your hard points, silence your devices, and breathe deeply. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the master of your own environment. Stay safe, stay put, and stay prepared.